1. Serena shifts her focus to Ross. Serena finds a way back into Robert's life next week, before unexpectedly setting her sights on Ross after showing a keen interest in Home Farm. Ever since arriving in the village, Serena has raised suspicions by repeatedly asking questions about Robert's dangerous half-brother John. Although she insisted she barely knew him through family ties, Aaron never believed her explanation and remained wary of her curiosity. Those doubts grew stronger when Kev recognized Serena as someone he had previously met during her time as a police officer. With Aaron and Robert hiding the truth about John's death, the discovery sparked fears that Serena had secretly returned to investigate the family. She explained that she had already left the police for personal reasons and admitted John had once helped her family financially. As she continued asking questions, Serena eventually figured out that Victoria was responsible for John's death. She promised Aaron she would keep the information from the authorities, but viewers later saw her entering a police station. Serena later claimed she had only been meeting a friend who worked there, leaving the real reason for her visit uncertain. Still unconvinced, Chas invited Serena into the back room of the Woolpack and secretly kept hold of her phone. After Serena departed, Chas unlocked it and discovered photographs showing Serena with John during December while he was on the run. Aaron shared the pictures with Robert, proving Serena had lied about not seeing John for years. Refusing to trust anything else she said, Robert and Aaron ordered her to leave Emmerdale Farm. However, her departure does not last long as events at Home Farm soon create an unexpected opportunity for her return. Next week, Kim discovers the property has been burgled. Armed with her shotgun, she puts Ross in charge of tracking down whoever was responsible. Frustrated with how he has handled the situation, Kim gives him several people to question. Ross first confronts Moira, but she quickly dismisses his accusations. His investigation then brings him to Robert, where Aaron objects to Ross's aggressive approach, and the confrontation soon turns physical. Serena suddenly appears and steps in before the fight can escalate. Once Ross leaves, she asks Robert to hear her side of the story, and finally reveals the full truth about her connection to John and why she hid their recent contact. Whatever Serena tells him is enough to convince Robert to let her remain in the village, although Aaron still refuses to trust her. At the same time, Kim confirms that a USB drive was stolen during the break-in. The missing item could contain footage Joe once possessed, showing Victoria killing John. Despite his lingering doubts, Aaron later offers Serena a job at Emmerdale Farm, while Robert continues recovering from his recent trailer accident. Serena then arranges another meeting with Ross. He assumes she is romantically interested in him, and she does nothing to correct his misunderstanding. As they enjoy drinks together at the Hyde, Ross has no idea that Serena is manipulating him. Her real motives remain unclear, raising questions about whether she is trying to uncover information linked to the missing USB stick. 2. Have Charity and Vanessa finally made progress? Charity faces another heartbreaking blow next week after the CPS decides there is not enough evidence to bring charges against Dr. Caitlin Todd. Charity had originally withdrawn her complaint after Todd threatened to expose the truth about Layla's parentage. She later informed DS Reed about the blackmail and remained determined to seek justice for the assault she says Todd committed against her. Last week, Reed's investigation prompted Vanessa to realize Charity had been hiding something. After confronting her, Vanessa learned that Todd had sexually assaulted Charity, although Charity chose not to reveal that the attack came after weeks of blackmail. Charity later attended a support group, but left early after listening to women describe being assaulted by men. She later confessed to Vanessa that she felt like she did not belong because her attacker was female. The CPS decision not to proceed with the case leaves Charity devastated and fearing Todd may never face justice. Refusing to accept the outcome, Mack and Vanessa begin to wonder whether Charity was the only person to accuse Todd of similar behavior. Suspecting there could be other victims, they start investigating in the hope of uncovering evidence that could finally expose Todd and reopen the case. 2. Charity and Vanessa search for new evidence. Mack and Vanessa begin investigating whether previous complaints made by patients or hospital employees were quietly dismissed or covered up. With Jacob's help, Vanessa arranges a private meeting with hospital HR representative Carol. Although Carol is polite, she remains extremely cautious throughout their conversation. She explains that confidentiality rules prevent her from discussing staff matters, but the way she responds leaves Vanessa and Jacob convinced she may be hiding important information. When Charity learns Vanessa is still searching for answers at the hospital, she heads there to stop her. Instead, she unexpectedly comes face to face with Helen, another woman who claims she suffered because of Todd. Helen is hesitant to speak about her experience, but Charity gently reveals that Todd assaulted her as well. The confession has a clear impact on Helen, giving Charity renewed hope that she has finally found someone who truly understands what happened to her. Will Helen decide to come forward with her own story, and could her testimony become the crucial evidence needed to reopen the case against Todd? 3. Kev goes too far trying to reconnect with Lewis. Kev's determination to rebuild his relationship with Lewis creates new problems next week, as his attempts to make up for lost time begin overwhelming his son. The pair recently repaired their relationship after Kev proved he had been falsely accused of robbing the cafe. Ross and Nicola had secretly staged the theft before hiding the stolen cash box in Kev's trailer to destroy his growing bond with Lewis. Although Kev convinced Ross to clear his name, he ultimately protected both Ross and Nicola by claiming Kylie had planted the cash box as one final act of revenge. Ross backed up the false story, allowing Kev to clear his reputation without exposing the real culprits or hurting Lewis. Believing his father had been wrongly blamed, Lewis apologized and agreed to give him another chance. He even offered Kev a job at the cafe. Unfortunately, Kev's first shift quickly went wrong. After making a mistake with Mandy's large drinks order, he blocked her from leaving when she refused to pay. Vinny was disturbed by Kev's behavior and warned others that he could be dangerous, while Nicola was quick to agree. Although Lewis wanted to continue giving him a chance, Kev decided to quit, believing his presence was creating more problems than solutions. Next week, Claudette encourages Kev not to give up after one setback. Meanwhile, Nicola happily assumes he has gone for good and tries convincing Lewis, Vinny and Mandy that the cafe is better off without him. Her celebration is cut short when Kev unexpectedly returns alongside Charles and asks for another opportunity. After learning that Lewis's birthday is approaching, Kev becomes determined to make up for every birthday he has missed over the years. He later arrives at Daleview, carrying a large collection of presents, eager to make the occasion unforgettable. However, Kev's grand gesture has the opposite effect. Rather than feeling appreciated, Lewis becomes uncomfortable with the amount of attention. Ross notices his brother's unease and worries that Kev is trying to rush a relationship that still needs time to grow. Can Kev slow down and allow their bond to develop naturally, or will his enthusiasm end up pushing Lewis away? 4. Kev's past comes back to haunt him. Kev's fresh start is placed under threat when someone from his former life unexpectedly arrives in the village. After discovering Lewis was his son, Kev promised to leave crime behind forever and avoid returning to prison. As part of his new beginning, he changed his surname from Townsend to Barton and even renamed his cake van Barton's Cake Tin. Kev previously explained that his own father abandoned the family when he was just 15, leaving them homeless and forcing him into stealing to survive. Because the Townsend name had become associated with his criminal history, Kev adopted Lewis's surname to stop that legacy affecting his son. Just as things begin improving between father and son, Steve unexpectedly appears. Very little is known about their shared history, but Kev is clearly unsettled by Steve's arrival. Determined not to lose everything he has worked so hard to build, Kev warns Steve not to interfere with his new life. Will Steve respect Kev's wishes, or is the past about to destroy his second chance? 5. Cain refuses to give up on Monty. Cain struggles to accept Monty's heartbreaking diagnosis next week and becomes convinced there must still be a way to save him. Monty's illness was discovered after Cain rescued him from a burning shed near Wishingwell. Veterinary tests later revealed cancer on Monty's spleen that had already spread to his lungs, leading Paddy to explain that the disease was terminal. Cain originally agreed that Monty should receive palliative care while he could still enjoy life. The diagnosis also made Cain reconsider his own refusal to undergo cancer treatment, convincing him that every available option deserved consideration. However, as Monty's condition worsens, Cain begins searching for another solution. Believing radiotherapy could help both himself and Monty, he seeks a second veterinary opinion in the hope of finding an alternative treatment. His determination to save the dog soon consumes all of his attention. As a result, Cain distances himself from Moira and fails to notice Kyle continuing to struggle emotionally. Kyle has found life difficult at Demdike Cadets while trying to overcome the issues that led him to start fires, but Cain's dismissive attitude leaves him feeling unable to ask for help. Moira urges Cain to recognize the impact his behavior is having on everyone around him, while gently preparing him for the possibility that Monty cannot be saved. Cain refuses to listen until the second opinion confirms the devastating truth. The specialist explains that Monty's tumors cannot be operated on, finally destroying Cain's last remaining hope. Cain's camping trip ends in tragedy. Heartbroken by Monty's prognosis, and unable to face spending time with Moira, Cain suddenly decides to take Kyle on a camping trip. His plans quickly change after discovering Kyle has invited Graham to join them. Kyle has recently formed a close friendship with Graham, opening up to him about the fires when he felt unable to confide in his own family. He has even admitted that talking to Graham feels easier than speaking to Cain. Although Cain briefly accepted Graham's help in supporting Kyle, their relationship soon became strained once again. He is furious to learn Graham will be joining the trip, but the three of them leave together anyway. Instead of helping Cain escape his worries, the outing soon becomes filled with arguments. His growing frustration eventually boils over, prompting Kyle to challenge his father's behavior. Unable to accept the criticism, Cain storms off alone into the countryside. As darkness falls, he slips down a steep hillside and badly injures his leg, leaving himself trapped and unable to return to camp. Cain spends the entire night stranded in the woods before waking in severe pain the next morning. With nobody in sight, he begins fearing that rescue may not come in time. Will Kyle and Graham realize Cain is missing before his situation becomes even more dangerous? Moira feels more isolated than ever. While Cain and Kyle are away, Rona visits Wishingwell to check on Monty, but quickly notices that Moira is struggling emotionally. Moira admits Cain's cancer fears have caused him to withdraw from their relationship. Not only has he avoided physical closeness, but he has also refused to open up about his feelings. His obsession with finding a cure for Monty has only widened the emotional distance between them, despite Moira repeatedly trying to support him. Cain's decision to take Kyle camping instead of spending time with her leaves Moira feeling completely shut out. As she confesses how lonely she feels within her marriage, Rona wonders if she can help repair the growing divide. 8. Dawn struggles to accept Billy's new romance. Next week, Dawn receives her wedding dress, giving her a welcome reason to celebrate as preparations continue for her marriage to Joe. Despite her excitement, she remains uncomfortable with Billy's growing relationship with Gabby. Dawn had previously asked the couple not to tell the children about their romance straight away, but Clemmy accidentally discovered them together. Although Clemmy was delighted by the news, Dawn has found it much harder to accept that Billy has moved on. Meanwhile, Gabby's ongoing struggles with food begin affecting her new relationship. After Billy cooks a meal especially for her, she distracts him to avoid eating it. How much longer can Gabby hide the seriousness of her eating difficulties from Billy? Emmerdale is broadcast on ITV1 every weekday at 8 p.m, with each episode also available to watch from 7 a.m. on ITVX and YouTube.